Randy Robinson here at Life Today. I have an interesting guest, someone you may have seen on Fox News or other news reports or online with her undercover video pieces. Lila Rose, the founder and president of Live Action, is here with me. Lila, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And I've been watching your work for a while because I think it's brilliant. You go into some interesting places and find out some shocking things. And I understand you started this at a very early age, at least the pro-life stuff. How did this become your thing?
Sure. Well, I'm 23 now, so I'm still at a fairly early age. But I started getting involved when I was a young teen because I found out about abortion when I was a kid, when I was 9 years old. And I was so horrified by the thought that we were allowing these tiny and defenseless children to be killed by abortion in our country, and that there are almost 4,000 of them every day. And so I was heartbroken by it, and I wanted to find a way to become involved in the pro-life movement, to do what I could to speak out for these children. And so that's how Live Action was born when I was a teenager, just in my living room with some friends saying, okay guys, what are we gonna do about abortion? And we saw churches at the time as the first place to go, youth groups, to educate our fellow peers about abortion and about the dignity of the human person.
How did you get into the undercover work?
That was a few years later when I got to UCLA as a bright-eyed freshman, excited to bring the pro-life message to the campus. It was, of course, the best place for the pro-life message. A lot of pro-life faculty there, a lot of pro-life students. I'm being sarcastic.
Are you being, okay,
yeah.
I'm thinking, that doesn't sound like the UCLA I've
Yeah, well, hopefully it's changing. I mean, I think it is changing, and that's what's exciting. But got there and realized that, no, there are a lot of, pro-choice, pro-abortion students, and a lot of support for the ideology of abortion being a good decision at times, or a necessary decision. And so that's when I started considering undercover work, because we thought if we could just show what's really happening in abortion clinics to people at UCLA and beyond, then they'd realize that abortion and abortion clinics are not operating for women, but that they're against women and against the dignity of the human person, against unborn children.
What have you found that has led you to that conclusion?
Well, I mean, the list is very long, because now we've been doing undercover work for 5 years. But my first sting operation when I was 18 was, I had a camcorder in my purse. I was posing as an underage girl, and it was at 2 different clinics in Los Angeles. And I walked into 2 Planned Parenthoods posing as a sexual abuse victim, saying that the man was much older than me, I needed help. And both Planned Parenthoods immediately said that they would, cover up the abuse, they wouldn't report it, even though they're required to by law. And then they went on to give me advice about how to get a secret abortion and how nobody would know, including my parents. So that was my first kind of sample of what really happens in the abortion industry.
That got you a lot of attention, both good and bad.
Yeah.
How did you handle the, invitations to New York to be on this new show or that new show?
Well, I think, first of all, what it taught me, after the first investigations, we put them on YouTube. We didn't know that they would get a lot of attention. I had no idea I'd get a call from the O'Reilly Factor. But the reason it got so much attention, besides getting some traction in the blogosphere and through social media networks, was because Planned Parenthood threatened to sue me, and threatened that they would sue me for money, for $5,000 for each offense if I didn't give the tapes back to them and take them off of YouTube. And at the time, I was a college student, and I had, they didn't have $200 to my name.
They knew they had you.
Yeah, they knew $5,000 might be pretty scary to a college student, but, God works in mysterious ways. And what happened, because they threatened me, it elevated the profile of the story. And those tapes were aired on Fox News, later on CNN, and networks all across the country. So that was certainly just an example it taught me from an early stage in being involved in this work that God really does work things together for good, and he works in very mysterious ways.
Yeah. I heard your phone calls, or the Live Action phone calls, was actually another guy calling several Planned Parenthoods around the country, multiple states, saying that he wanted to make a donation to have an African American child aborted because there were too many blacks. And he was that openly racist about it. And they said, okay, well, we'll take your money. Or yes, we'll designate that a black baby is aborted with your funds, even though we know your motives are racist. How did that come about? I mean,
Exactly. Well, I mean, first off, abortionists do target blacks. Planned Parenthood has targeted the black community since its founding by racist Margaret Sanger, their founder in the 1930s. And black neighborhoods are disproportionately targeted by abortion clinics. They're set up there. A black woman is 3 to 5 times more likely to have an abortion in our country than a white woman. And the abortion rate is sky high in the black community and in other ethnic communities.
But we're told that this is compassionate health care for underprivileged women. Is that kind of a bill of goods that they're selling?
Of course.
Yeah?
I mean, it's Hitleresque what's happening in our country, because what we're seeing is abortion is first of all being called some form. First, if it was called a woman's right, which is an absurdity. Abortion is an act of murder. It's killing an innocent unborn child. It's turning a woman against her own flesh and blood. It's hurting women. Abortionists kill women. Abortion causes physical and emotional damage in women, and they're not allowed to talk about it afterwards, because they will give a bad rep to the abortion industry and to those that support abortion ideologically. But beyond that, what we're seeing in the black community, the attack on that black community that was designed from the beginning, the videos that we did where we had an actor posing as a racist, calling to make a race-based abortion fund, that really happens and has happened in Planned Parenthood's history. There were rich racists who got together and said, what are we going to do about the Negro problem, the black problem in our country? And they saw abortion as a tool to do population control of the populations that they didn't like. And that same ideology is alive and well, and that's why today in our country, a black baby is almost as likely to be aborted as he or she is to be born.
There's a lot of African American leaders that would vehemently disagree with you. How do you deal with that sort of criticism?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of black leaders that would vehemently agree. Dr. Alveda King, the niece of Martin Luther King Jr., calls this black genocide, what's happening. There's a lot of brave leaders. There's a whole coalition of blacks that serve in Congress, that part of the Frederick Douglass Network Foundation, that work together to speak out against this and other issues that are facing the black community, where they've been silenced by certain political parties, that don't want to talk about abortion as being something bad. So there are a lot of black voices out there speaking out about this, because it's happening in our country, and it's a problem that is what they're calling it genocide of black populations in our country.
What's your outlook for the future? I mean, you've seen a lot of stuff, you've faced a lot of opposition, you've uncovered a lot of things, unseemly things. Are you optimistic, though, that things are changing for the good?
Absolutely. Things are absolutely changing for the good. We're winning. I think that right now more than ever, people need to stand up and speak out and get involved politically, socially, in their churches, in their schools. Parents get involved, make sure in the public school systems or the local schools that the truth is being given to students, and that Planned Parenthood is not doing sexual education, because that's a whole other area where Planned Parenthood is brainwashing a generation. I mean, there's so many ways to get involved today, and we have great momentum for good. I think on a spiritual level, there is an awakening happening in our country. People are returning to the church. People are coming out and realizing that this life is more than materialism and more than the lies that the entertainment industry might be selling us about what is good and what is bad, but instead we're wanting something more. My generation is hungry for something more, for something meaningful, and I think that this cause for life, for the unborn, our unborn brothers and sisters, is really at its heart a cause for the human person made in the image of God. And it's so inspiring, because young people want to identify with something bigger than themselves, and there's nothing more beautiful or it's nothing better to identify with than to stand up for human life.
Sure, absolutely. Let me ask you one question, and I know some of your critics have brought this up, so this is nothing new, but some people say that you are a liar, you are a deceiver, you're going in under false pretense.
Right, absolutely we are. Absolutely, we're going under false pretenses, yes. Yeah.
And you don't have any problems with that? You don't see any contradiction in morality there?
Right. The day when our police force will do this work to protect our unborn brothers and sisters, the day when our laws are doing their job to protect innocent human life, the day when our government is doing their job to have a true civilization that protects the weak, is the day when I'll give my camera and go film some fun films about beauty products, or I don't know, or something about, you know, history. I love history, something like this.
Yeah.
But as long as the law, the government, the police aren't doing their job to protect the most fundamental right for the weakest among us, then citizens like myself, like you, us together, we need to say, what are we going to do? Because we have to step in where the people in authority aren't doing their job, and we need to step in and do the job for them.
So a form of civil disobedience, if you will?
Absolutely.
Except
And we're not even breaking any laws.
breaking any laws.
That's the funny thing. We're not even breaking any laws, but we're using the undercover method. We're using undercover sting operations like the military might do, or like police ops might do, or FBI, CAA, because they're extremely powerful to expose the truth.
Yeah.
And the reality is the truth is hidden. I mean, it is so silenced, even insidiously in the statistics that we have about abortion and the studies done on the harm of abortion to women. There are so many lies out there because the abortion lobby, ideologues, and people that make money off of abortion have such power politically now. And these clinics are covering up sexual abuse, aiding and abetting traffickers, lying outright to women, doing coerced abortions on women. They're giving misinformation, and they're getting away with all of it. All in the name of choice and reproductive freedom, it being pro-woman. It's a big sham.
Healthcare now.
Healthcare, they're using the word healthcare to defend abortion. It's insane.
Yes.
So it's our job to go out there and expose the truth and let people decide for themselves.
Okay, now she just made a bunch of charges, but you can see them. Tell them where they can see these videos that you're talking about, so that they don't just have to take your word for it. They can listen to the people in their own words.
Of course, thank you. Yeah, do the research for yourself and go online and learn the facts about abortion, what it does to an unborn child, the risks, but also view the videos for yourself. We have the footage on our website at liveaction.org. Liveaction.org has the full footage from many of these stings. It has videos that show the different aspects of the abuse in the abortion industry. I also urge you to go to a website called here'stheblood.com. It's linked at liveaction.org, and that actually shows the violence of abortion, what it actually does to that unborn child. I think it's so important that we recognize, I mean, we're brave and we see abortion for what it is, because so often we don't hear the cries of the unborn because they can't cry out. They're completely trapped in their mother's wombs. They're defenseless. So it's up to us, I think, to confront the reality of what's happening around us, and all that material is online, and it starts at liveaction.org.
Check it out. And check out Lila when she's on Live Today at livetoday.org. It's good work, and there are things that you can do to help turn this tide in America towards life once again. Thank you for your work, and thank you for spending a few minutes with me.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.